open question. What's the multi-strategy right now?
The multi-strategy is defensive here, Tom. I mean, there's a lot of focus on 25 versus 50, but I think the real message of the week was that Powell reemphasized financial conditions need to stay tight for transmission of monetary policy to work. And the thing that we lost sight of here is how is monetary policy supposed to actually bring down inflation? It functions mainly through financial conditions tightening. And when you look at where we were at the end of January, financial conditions were basically back to where they were before the tightening even began, effectively unwinding all of the tightening in policy. So the pushback here is coming from the data. And, we can parse today's payroll report. I would emphasize the earlier conversation. AHE is the worst measure of real-time or near-term measures of wage growth because of the compositional effects. But beyond the noise of the data, the issue is that financial conditions aren't tightening enough. And Powell pushed back this week, and that means that it raises the prospects that they have to do more. That's the 50-25 debate, but it's really the terminal debate that is important here. And that they're much more willing to push the risk up of a recession.
Jeff Rosenberg, you're going to take in the various narratives and you're going to filter them through a Carnegie Mellon education, which is hugely probabilistically determined. Fine. Can you state that we are in a disinflationary trend now? What is the probability that the vector coming off of this report and coming off Tuesday will signal disinflation?
Well, I think what we had is finally the realization of peak inflation. And remember, that was the big debate for a while was, the expectation that we'd hit peak inflation would come down. And it just kept getting disappointed. Last November, we hit the peak inflation and everybody got very excited by 3 months in a row of very good inflation numbers that showed a decline, but decline to what level, right? The Fed is talking about getting back to the pre-COVID 2%, and nothing in the data that we're seeing in terms of the persistent measures of inflation, which is really that core services, ex-housing services, which is really about labor and markets and wage inflation. Nothing has really said that the Fed's tightening to date has done the work that's necessary to bring that back to 2% target to have that be accomplished.